Welcome back to another video on the channel. What a day of tennis we have in store with, two Grand Slam semi-finals that on paper you don't really get much better. You've got Stefanos Tsitsipas against Alexander Zverev, two next-gen stars that are on the verge of breaking out and becoming Grand Slam champions. And on the other hand, you've got the 50th meeting between Nadal and Djokovic. Obviously, Nadal's got the upper hand in the head-to-head, 7-1 at Roland Garros. The huge favourite now, being a 13-time Grand Slam champion at the French Open. But if anyone can beat Rafa, I think Djokovic is the man to do it. So first off, I'm just going to look at Alexander Zverev against Stefanos Tsitsipas, and this is a huge, huge moment for both of these players, I feel. And I say that because these are probably the two next-gen stars that everyone's been looking to break through and start winning Grand Slams. And they're facing off each other in a semi-final, where they'd usually be facing the likes of Roger Federer or Djokovic or Nadal. They've avoided all those in this half of the draw, and they're playing each other. So it's, do or die time. I guess you can say that Zverev's got a slight advantage in the experience terms and the fact that he's won a Grand Slam semi-final, whereas Tsitsipas hasn't. He obviously got beat in the semi-final last year of this tournament against Djokovic. Pulled off an incredible comeback from 2 sets down to level it, and then had nothing left in the decider. So I'm sure he'll have learned that he needs to start faster on this occasion. They've both won many ATP titles, so I don't really expect nerves to be a problem, but Grand Slams are a different kettle of fish. Both players definitely improving their all-round games. They've both had very, very good tournaments. I've often been critical in the past of Tsitsipas and Zverev that they've used up too much energy in the early rounds, going 4 and 5 hours in 4 and 5 set battles with players way down the rankings, and that's cost them in the quarterfinals and semi-finals of not quite producing the best in the biggest moments and at the back end of sets, just not having enough energy in the legs. But so far they both cruised through very comfortably. Neither have ever looked like getting beat. I think of the next gen stars, I've always said that I think Stefanos Tsitsipas is the one that is on the verge of breaking through and doing something very special. And at the start of the tournament, when I first saw the draw, I thought to myself, this is Stefanos' chance. He's always been very unlucky with draws in Grand Slams, but with Medvedev on his half, who isn't at home on clay, Dominic Thiem, who came into the French Open in terrible form, there was only really Zverev I felt that could give him a test. And, Zverev's done his job as well, cruised through very comfortably to set up this match against Tsitsipas. It's a difficult one to call. As I said, I think both are improving. They're at similar stages in their career. It's a huge opportunity for both players, so it'll be down to who can win the big moments and who can handle the nerves better on those big points. But I do still have a slight worry about Zverev's second serve and forehand occasionally breaking down. I don't think he's been as solid as Tsitsipas in this tournament. We saw him be broken by Davidovich Fokina in the opening set a couple of times. His gift and service games away, and with the way Tsitsipas is striking the ball so cleanly and serving so well, then I think that could be the difference. I think Zverev's more open to a lapse in concentration, and is more likely to give away a service game, which could be the difference in either set. So I'm just going to go with Tsitsipas. I think he's slightly the more solid player. He enjoys the clay courts more than Zverev, I think, in my opinion. I think, Tsitsipas's best surface is probably clay now. He said that to himself the other day. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Tsitsipas in 4 sets, but a semi-final I'm very much looking forward to. And it'd be interesting to see how either of those do in the final on Sunday. So moving on now to Rafael Nadal against Novak Djokovic, and you feel like every single tournament at the moment you get a Nadal versus Djokovic match, and Djokovic leads the head-to-head 29-28, I think it is, or 28-27, something like that. There's certainly one in it. When Nadal's reached the French Open semi-finals on 13 occasions, he's never lost the tournament. 7-1 against Djokovic at the French Open, beat Djokovic in straight sets in the final last year. So all the numbers do point towards Rafa Nadal, certainly. But I think it's worth noting that the conditions today will be very different to what they were last year. It's a semi-final as well, which I think helps Djokovic. Last year when he had to come through a marathon semi-final against Tsitsipas, I think Djokovic started very, very slowly in the Nadal final, and the match was sort of over before he got into it. So I think the fact that Djokovic has got through to the semi-final pretty much unscathed, then he should be peak fitness and ready to give a huge effort to try and conquer Rafa. So just looking at their two semi-finals, and Nadal against Schwartzman was very, very interesting because I didn't think Nadal was anywhere near his best for the first couple of sets. You have to give credit to Diego Schwartzman, who produced some fantastic tennis and stuck with Rafa from the baseline and actually dominated the long points, which is something that we don't often see anybody do against Rafa at the French Open. But it got an interesting stage in that third set. It was 1-1. Schwartzman led 4-3 on games, and I thought to myself, this is going to be interesting because I haven't seen Nadal under any scoreboard pressure at Garros for a long, long time. He won the tournament last year without even dropping a set. So if there was any chinks in Rafa's armour, then you were going to see it at that stage in the Schwartzman match. And you could just see from 3-4 in that third set that Rafa just upped his level and thought, right, I need to get on with this. And the level that he produced from that stage onwards, winning 9 consecutive games, was just quite astonishing. And it made me think that, if Rafa can produce that level for a couple of hours, and there's nobody in the world can even touch Rafa on a clay court, and it just sort of cemented. It was a real statement, I think, from Rafa from that stage of the match. And as everybody probably knows on this channel now, I'm a huge Djokovic fan, and more than that, I'm a tennis fan, and I just appreciate watching brilliant tennis. And Rafa on his best as a clay court is just a joy to watch. How easy he makes it look, how well he maintains balance from the backhand side and maintain neutral and rallies, the consistent depth, the forehands, the backhands, the winners, the way he served from set 3 onwards against Schwartzman was special to watch, and just the emotion he shows on court, the fist pumps, the getting the crowd involved in the match. And I always feel like the Rafa match is captivating with the way he plays the game, and you can see how much he loves it on court, and how much he enjoys playing well and hitting winners, I guess. And I always like watching Rafa at the French for the fact that even though he's won the title 13 times, you'd still think he was chasing his first. He just loves to win. He loves a battle. He loves a fight, and I think that Schwartzman match probably done him a world of good. Going into the Djokovic one, he did have to fight. He didn't play his best tennis, but he came through it in fine fettle in the end, and it was a quite stunning performance from that set 3 onwards. And as I said, a real statement performance, as if to say, this is my court, and if I turn up and play my best tennis and there's no one standing with me, and it's probably a fair reflection on Rafa. Djokovic Berrettini, I thought Djokovic was flawless for the first couple of sets. Berrettini did come back. I think the monster serve and forehand started to find its targets, and yeah, Djokovic did. He choked in the tiebreak at 5-4 up in the tiebreak with 2 serves. He made 2 very poor errors, and Berrettini capitalised. The back end of the 4th set, I think Djokovic returned very well. He stayed neutral in rallies. He forced the errors, and I was very pleased that he got it done 7-5 in the 4th. I didn't want him to go into the tiebreak and risk a 5th set. But yeah, I think Djokovic has played very well throughout this tournament. Controlled aggression, I think, is the key. I do think he has to, for the keys for Djokovic to win today, I think he has to serve well. And we've seen second serves of Djokovic in the past against Nadal. He gets that slice down the middle, or the high, deep return to Djokovic's forehand, which is probably the weakest part of his game. I think Musetti done very well to play lots of slices down the middle to Djokovic onto his forehand, and I don't think Djokovic's forehand has been his absolute best so far this tournament. So I do expect Nadal to play a lot of shots to Djokovic's forehand, really test it out today. So yeah, I just think, Rafa, he's absolutely relentless when he gets going, particularly in the forehand. But I think the backhand of Rafa's would be the key shot today. Defensively, he's got it down to a T. Defending out that backhand side, he gets such good depth, maintains balance perfectly, allows him to stay neutral in rallies, get back into the centre of the court, get back on top of the baseline. And yeah, I think Rafa, he has to be a favourite going into this match. I think, as I said, Djokovic has played very well so far. I think Rafa not playing at his best and Djokovic not playing at his best. I do think Djokovic could come out on top. But when Rafa hits his peak and starts playing at 95 to 100%, then I think he will take over. And we've seen Rafa peak in semi-finals, produce his best in the biggest moments time and time again. And if he produces so many of his best, then even as big a Djokovic fan as I am, I've seen it so many times over the years. He's beaten 7 times to Djokovic's once. And yeah, I haven't seen anything from Rafa really this tournament to suggest that he's not going to win the title again. I think if anyone can beat Rafa over 5 sets at the French, Djokovic is probably a man, especially in the semi-final when he's at his freshest. But you'd be mad not to go against Nadal, with Nadal, sorry. So I'm going to go with Nadal in 4 sets and Stefanos Tsitsipas in 4 sets. But two epic semi-finals on paper. Can't wait to see how they both unfold. I will be bringing out a preview for the women's final and the men's final as well, so do check those out when they go up on the channel. If you do have any thoughts on today's match of the women's final, do leave them in the comment section below. Please like and subscribe, it is much appreciated, and I will see you on the next video.